the timer was running down, but why wait for the timer when the timer's late anyway? I do apologize for the slight delay on today's show. We've had 101 things we're trying to get through, trying to get done, trying to prepare just for you guys who are the viewers of the Impact Show. We have a webinar coming up on Monday, which I want to let you all know about. Why? Because it's a live webinar at 8 p.m. on Monday, which is GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. So if you want to be a part of that webinar on Monday, let us know and we will put the link inside of the chat so you guys can register for that webinar. And in that webinar on Monday, I'm going to be personally sharing with you guys some great insights about some of the things that are taking place in the current property market and how you can take advantage in that regard. So come and be a part of the webinar that we're running on Monday, and I'll remind you about that later on in tonight's show. So guys, first and foremost, welcome to the show. For those of you who are here with us for the first time, just feel free to write in the comments, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're in the Facebook world, write in the comments here for the first time or first time. And if you're back again, just feel free to write in the chat back again. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all here, both those of you who are new and those of you who have been here before. Now, the reason we do this Impact Show is because at the beginning of the lockdown, the beginning of the pandemic, I had a number of coaching clients, property investment coaching clients reaching out to me saying, Samuel, I don't know what to do about this. Samuel, I don't know what to do about that. Samuel, how do I move forward in my property journey with regards to the current climate, with everything going the way it's been going? So what I did is I said to the team, you know what, it makes more sense in order for us to engage with all of these people through a way that's going to be actually appropriate. And the only way we thought fit was to jump on YouTube and do a YouTube live show every single week. So we've been doing this every single week since lockdown. This is now episode 22. So there are 22 or 21 previous episodes, which you can go onto our YouTube channel, www.impactproperties.co.uk/YouTube. You can go straight onto our YouTube channel in order to watch all of the old live shows. Now, what we do on these shows, for those of you who are brand new, is all we do is we answer your questions. We take your questions, not questions that we have prefabricated, but we take your questions as the viewership, as the people who are out there doing property, who want to move forward. So we just work based on an experience basis where we basically share with you what we're doing, what we're advising our coaching clients to do, what we're seeing in terms of success for ourselves and also for those people that we're working with. And then from there, we utilize that to help you move forward in your property journey by providing answers. So first and foremost, if you're in Facebook, if you're in the Facebook world, let us know if you have any questions for us, any questions whatsoever. Write them in the chat. Let's get some fire in the comments as well, so I know that you guys in the Facebook world are ready to go. So write your comments in the chat and let's get some fire and some emojis in the comments. Now back to the YouTube world. If you're in the YouTube world on the Impact Show, what I'd love for you guys to do is let me know in the comments if you're ready to go. Let me know ready to go. That's the phrase, ready to go. As I see ready to go come up in the chat, I am going to jump into our disclaimer. Straight after our disclaimer, I'm going to jump into some news. Straight after the news, I'm going to jump on the phone. And I'm sure today we've got callers, because every single week we've had callers since the first week we started the show. So I'm looking forward to answering your questions, hearing your questions, and working with you guys to move forward in your property journey. So let me know if you're ready to go. Let me know in the chat if you are ready to go, and I'll be able to move forward with you guys. I've got Yogesh already in the chat. Welcome, Yogesh. We got ready to go. Excellent, absolutely fantastic. I've got quite a few people in the YouTube chat already popping off in terms of conversation, so that's really great. Guys, those of you who are watching for the first time, I've got Josephine over there ready to go. Welcome to the show, Josephine. For those of you who are new to the YouTube world, what I want you to understand is this: the comment section in YouTube is a little bit different to Facebook. In Facebook, comments are really for you to engage with the person who's doing the live, whereas in YouTube, the comments is your community. It's for you guys to talk. So if you got questions, if you got things that you want to ask or get answered, put that in the comments in the chat and let's see how we go from there. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the disclaimer. After reading out our disclaimer, we are going to push forward full force with tonight's show. So as we usually share, all information provided and results given are exemplary. Each person's results may vary or differ. Results are based on consistent strategies, and we advise that you always seek legal and or financial support and advice from a qualified professional should you wish to take advantage of any of the insights, strategies, etc. that we give to you on the show. So guys, we like to get the disclaimer out of the way. Now that the red tape is gone, the show is open. Now, I guess my big question is, how can I help you? So if you're in the chat, feel free to write in the chat any comments you've got. If you are inside of Facebook, feel free to write over any questions you've got. I've got a question coming through already from KTR. KTR, feel free to call in as well, okay? Because that's why we open up the phone lines in a few moments in order for people to get extra value on the show so they can call in, ask their questions, let the whole YouTube world, let the Facebook world hear them and know exactly what we are going through. So we're going to deal with the phone line questions first, and then after the phone line questions, we will go through all of the YouTube questions. So if you send a question in, please rest assured your question will be answered, okay? There are no questions too big, no questions too small. And just before we go further in, remember, if you're on the YouTube world, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and why not hit the notification icon which looks like a bell so you can stay up to date and notified every single time that we drop a video and every single time that we decide to go live. So now, without further ado, phone line is open, okay? So the phone lines are now open. You can see the phone number on the screen. Those of you who are in YouTube, if you're in the Facebook world, you won't be able to see the telephone number and the access code. But if you are on the Facebook world and you want to come over to YouTube, you can go to www.impactproperties.co.uk/let's go live. LETSGOLIVE. If you go to www.impactproperties.co.uk/let's go live, you can join us on the YouTube world. And if you do join us on YouTube, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, and let the YouTube world know that this is some great content. So YouTube, Facebook, I've got a whole bunch of people on Facebook who are pumping on. If you jump on Facebook, feel free to say hi. Let me get some fire in the comments. Let me know that you're here with us. Now, if you're on the YouTube world, it's that time. Telephone line is open. Call in if you have property questions. Let us answer your property questions. Let's take your property questions and answer your property questions so you can move forward in your property investing journey. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do for you guys. And that's the reason we run the show. So let us know if you've got any questions. I got a whole bunch of likes coming through in the Facebook world already. We've got Jeff Thomas. Thank you, Jeff Thomas, for the likes on Facebook. We've got Mattia Ventura. Thank you, Mattia. Mattia is a property investor as well. For those of you who don't know, connect with Mattia as well. We've got comments coming through in abundance on the Facebook world. All right, so in Facebook, let's jump into some of these comments and see what you guys are saying in comments. Thank you, fabulous value. We've got hi. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Excellent question. I can phone in with this. Okay, so we're gonna jump straight in. We're gonna turn the phone lines on, or the phone lines are on. So we're gonna jump straight onto the phone lines and see if we can give some value through means of that. So guys, I'm feeling this. The comments are off the chain. I've got fire in the chat from Jane. Thank you ever so much, Jane, for your fire in the comments. Excellent. Guys, this is just popping off. Okay, I got Keenan saying afternoon champ, afternoon Keenan, great to have you on. All right, so Facebook is buzzing, Facebook is popping off, YouTube is buzzing, YouTube is popping off. Let's jump into the phone lines, let's see who's on the line, and let's see what questions they have. We've got one caller in already, phone lines on. Let's see who we've got tonight. All right, hopefully everything's set up. Let's jump straight in. Hello and good evening. Okay, so my telephone line caller. Let's do this quickly. Let's see if this helps. Hello, good evening. Caller number one, keep speaking for me, please. Let me know that you're on the phone. We are speaking to 9706. That is the last 4 digits of your phone number.
Yeah, you can't hear me.
I can hear you, actually.
Oh, good.
Hi, Yogesh. How you doing? I can tell it's you. Hello, Yogesh.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me? That should be better. Can you hear me now, Yogesh?
No, I can't hear you now.
Excellent. I do apologize. So we've got Yogesh on the phone. Yogesh can hear me. Hopefully in the Facebook world, you can hear Yogesh. Yogesh has just called in with a question from the YouTube show. So if you're not on YouTube and you're on Facebook and you want to hear Yogesh, you want to get connected, all you got to do is go to www.impactproperties.co.uk/let's go live, and you will go directly to the live show on YouTube. For those of you on YouTube, I'm going to unmute Yogesh now, and hopefully you guys should be able to hear Yogesh as well. So Yogesh, without further ado, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. What would you like us to discuss on the show tonight?
Okay, a couple of things if you have time, but the main one is firstly I'll start generally and then I'll go more specific. It's about technology. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. So Yogesh wants to discuss technology for us to get started with. So let's go for it. Hopefully property technology.
Yeah, property technology. So things like apps and IT, software, things that save your time is what I'm really after.
Perfect.
And I can narrow it down because that's probably quite a wide question, but you might have to come up with some names of software that can save time in property. That would be good. But more specifically, client relationship manager software. Do you
CRM.
use any?
Yeah.
And if so, how does it help you and the names of them?
Yeah.
And then I'm particularly trying to find an app or software that I can use on my iPhone, ideally, that helps me prioritize my to-do in the most important first and then going down, but in a way that, you know, is quite quickly easy to tick off and it follows up if you're not doing it, or you can set it to remind you in a few days. So something like that would really help.
Excellent.
I think that's the main points really.
Excellent. All right, so Yogesh has asked a whole bunch of questions in one. He's talking about property technology, and Yogesh's question is fairly simple. His question is, what kind of property technology do you use in order to save your time? Predominantly, we're talking about CRM systems. For those of you who do not know what CRM systems are, they are client relationship management systems, or customer relationship management systems, CRM systems. So for those of you who have never heard of that before, you can go Google that, CRM, C for Charlie, R for Romeo, M for Mother, and you can find out about CRM systems and how they can help people, how they help businesses generally. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Yogesh a couple questions. Straight after I ask Yogesh a couple questions, I'm going to deep dive into my answer to Yogesh's question, which is going to be a powerful answer because we recently recorded a video about this as well, which is something I've spoken about previously, but we're trying to get out to you guys as the community. So hopefully when that gets out, it will be really helpful. So Yogesh, two questions. First question, are you happy for the YouTube world to hear every single thing we're going to discuss in our communication on the show tonight?
Yes.
Excellent. And I'm sure you're happy for them to also hear the value that I'm going to share with you in terms of my insights and my thoughts around the questions you ask, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent. All right, so without further ado, let's jump straight in. First thing I'm going to share with everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, you should see right below, right here, you should see the banner for you to go get the sourcing blueprint. The link for that is www.sourcingblueprint.com. Now, why am I talking about the sourcing blueprint when Yogesh has asked about technology? Simple answer. Because the sourcing blueprint is the framework in order for you to find great property deals, and Yogesh's question fits right into part 2 of the sourcing blueprint. So when I created the sourcing blueprint, I created that as a framework for people to no longer find property complicated. I didn't want people to want to invest in property, want to start trying to find great deals and find that process complicated. So I said, okay, let's create a framework that people can use right out of the box and start utilizing that in order to find property deals. Now, for any brownie points, someone tell me what the first M is in the sourcing blueprint in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Let me know in the chat what is the first M in the sourcing blueprint. Now, as I let you guys give me an answer to that, I'm going to shift into the second M because the second M relates to Yogesh's question. Now, the second M in the sourcing blueprint is all about managing, okay? And when we say managing in the sourcing blueprint, we're talking about managing relationships. So they may be the relationships you have with investors. They may be the relationships you have with landlords. They may be the relationships you have with sellers. They may be the relationships you have with any counterpart, any other stakeholder that may be relative to you in your property investing journey. Now, in my property business, I work with investors funds. So because I work with investors funds, those investors are people that will be in my CRM system. I also work with landlords in our rent to rent side of our business, our management side of our business. So those people, those landlords will be inside of our CRM system. And side by side with that, we also work with sellers because we have a sourcing business. So those sellers will be in our CRM system, as well as any other party of people that we meet. So the reason why CRMs are effective is because CRMs allow you to, first and foremost, collate and combine all of your information. Secondarily, if you've got a really good CRM system, it will allow you also to sift through the people you're using in order to find every seller in your database, or every landlord in your database, or every investor in your database, and so on and so on. So CRM systems are extremely powerful. I would encourage you to use them. Now, in terms of some CRM systems, I'm going to throw out two names, okay, just to help you. The first one is Capsule, okay? Capsule's a great CRM system. I'm going to tell you, for me, what's part of the USP to Capsule, which is why we've used it in the past. One of the USPs to Capsule, which comes in an app as well as an online basis in order to use, if that makes sense. It's an online platform. I guess that's the terminology. So there's an online platform as well as an app for Capsule. Now, the reason why Capsule is good is because Capsule really integrates with your phone really well. So if you're a small business with like 3 or 5 people in your business, or even just a one-man band, Capsule might work really well for you, because what happens is you can store 400 or 500 people in terms of your database in Capsule. But where it gets really, really good is if one of those people in your Capsule database phone you, your phone will tell you that someone who's in your CRM system is calling you. Now, the reason that's powerful is because there are a lot of CRM systems that do not integrate with your phone. And the problem with that is you may have someone calling you, a vendor who's trying to sell you a property with speed. And because your CRM system is not integrated fully with your mobile phone, the problem is they're calling you and you don't know it's them that's calling you. Or they're calling you and you're not prepared for the call because you didn't know it was the person who it actually was. And this is why a CRM system which is actually really well integrated into your own infrastructure is worth its weight in gold, or is very, very valuable. So again, Capsule is the first recommendation I'll give you if you're a small business, small medium-sized business, and you're looking at leveling up in terms of your CRM system. So Capsule is the first one. The second one is HubSpot. Okay, HubSpot. I do recommend HubSpot. Now, one of the reasons I recommend HubSpot is because it's deep integration with so many other things. So first and foremost, those of you who know about Zapier or Zapier, however you say it, whether you're in the US or the UK, but Zapier allows you to integrate, okay? Zapier allows you to integrate. I'm being told by the team that my voice is low on YouTube, so we're turning that up. Hopefully my voice is much louder for you guys on YouTube. But Zapier basically is an integration software. Zapier is an app. If you think of it as an app, it connects with a bunch of different apps and allows you to connect apps which don't usually work together. So Zapier becomes like a middleman or a bridge for any two apps. Now, the reason I'm talking about Zapier is because HubSpot as a CRM system integrates with Zapier really well. So that can allow you to do some really amazing things, such as, for example, you can have all your contacts in HubSpot. You can connect that to Zapier and then connect that to like a Google form or a Google Sheet. And what that can allow you to do is every time you have a new person who joins your HubSpot, your CRM system, maybe a new seller who's contacted your team, or a new lead or a new property opportunity, because of the Zapier integration, that can basically take that lead and throw it onto a spreadsheet that you've got somewhere else, okay? And if you've utilized it with the spreadsheet that you've got somewhere else, the great thing about that is that could put you in a position where you can basically take full advantage, pass that spreadsheet to someone else, someone who does viewings for you, or someone else who does calls for you if you've got an outbound calling team. And again, you know, in terms of integration, it just takes it to the next level. So the real key behind all of this is managing. And this is what I'd say to you, Yogesh. It's really about thinking about how you can manage your relationships, whether it be with investors, whether it be with sellers, whether it be with landlords, or any other counterparts that you have in your property business. And the true key to management is all about thinking about relationship first, okay? So I've been told by the team that the volume is perfect now. We've been working with it, so thank you for the heads up. So guys, the key I would say in your property business is management, and that's why it's the second M in the sourcing blueprint. If you haven't got the sourcing blueprint ebook, it's absolutely free. Go to the link www.sourcingblueprint.com. go get the free ebook. Now Facebook, if you guys have got questions, let me know. They can hear Yogesh on Facebook, they can hear Yogesh on YouTube, so we know the tech is all in good order. So Yogesh, that's the first thing I'd say to you. CRM systems, HubSpot. Second one, Capsule. Now you also mentioned about apps, which can be of help to you, and you mentioned that you're an Apple user, so I'm going to try my best to give you some that are helpful. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't want to leave out the Android guys, okay? If you're Android, let me know in the chat. If you're on Facebook and you're using Android, you know, there's no shame in Android. Throw a little fire inside of the comments. If you are on YouTube and you're using Android, let me know in the comments. I'm an Android user. Or just throw some fire or an emoji in the chat in YouTube so we know that you're using Android. Now, the reason why your question is really quite fitting, Yogesh, is because we recently recorded a video which is called, I can't remember the title specifically, it hasn't yet gone up on the channel, but the video is basically all about the top apps that I use to help me keep successful in my property business. Okay, so guys, if you haven't seen that video and you want that video to come out, I got Mrs. I Can't Win in the chat. She's using Android. Anyone else using Android, let me know. Don't be afraid. KTR lets us know she's using Android. Why did you wait for Mrs. I Can Win to say it? Was you embarrassed? All right? Don't be embarrassed about Android, guys. I'm an Android user. I'm an Android user too. So this show is coming to you via Android in some way, shape or form. So guys, don't be afraid. So, and look, Yogesh has got it. First M in the sourcing blueprint. Yogesh has got it. First M is market. Fire, 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 fire for Yogesh. Well done. We love that. We absolutely love that. That's amazing. All right, now, running through the process, okay? We recently did a video. The video is about the top apps I use in order to stay successful in my property business. Now, because I don't want to steal the thunder from that video, I want you guys to hit subscribe and press that notification bell so when that video comes out, you can be kept up to date about it. But what I am going to do to give you value is I'm going to mention 2 apps which are going to help you on your property journey. 2 simple apps to help you on your property journey. Now, these apps are transferable. So what that means is any business you run, these 2 apps will help you. Okay. And again, I'm also going to speak about a few of the variants whilst we're live. Because we're live, I got to give you guys more value than the video I'm going to put out, because you guys are sharing the airways with me. So thank you for sharing the airways with me. The first app I'm going to speak to you about is called AnyDo. Okay, AnyDo. That's ANY_DO. You can find the website by going to any.do.com or just any.do, I think is the link. Now, someone in the team, if you can throw in the chat if it's any.do, I do believe it's any.do, ANY.do. Now, why am I recommending AnyDo? Okay, I first heard about AnyDo from someone who lives on the whole other side of the planet, someone from Australasia, and we've just checked it. It's absolutely correct, any.do. Okay, so any.do is the website, and that's the name of the app, whether you're on Android or whether you're on Apple. Now, it works on both devices. It works on Android devices. It also works on Apple devices. Now, the reason AnyDo is amazing is because AnyDo is a task success management app. Let me just call it that. And the reason I had to add the word success in there is because AnyDo helps you keep track of what you're actually doing. So I want to say this to you. If you're the kind of person who struggles to start new habits, you know you got a new habit, you want to get better at it, use AnyDo. It will help you, okay? So it allows you to track what you're doing. It allows you to track how often you do it. It allows you to make lists and a whole bunch of other stuff. So the first one's AnyDo. Now, the reason I'm sharing the AnyDo app is because one of the things Yogesh said is he's thinking really about productivity. How do I stay more productive in my property business? How do I make sure that I can pass things on to other people, delegate, etc.? AnyDo will help you do that. Okay, so AnyDo is the first app I'm going to share with you guys. Now, the next app, all right, thank you, Jane. So Jane's thrown in the chat in Facebook, any.do, and thank you, Mrs. I Can Win, who's thrown in YouTube, https, //www.any.do/. Now, guys, there's no affiliate links on this, so just go hit the link and go get the app if you need the app. Now, the second app outside of AnyDo. AnyDo will keep you productive. The second app outside of AnyDo, which I use, okay, and again, in the video, I think I go into about 5 or 10. I can't remember how many, but there's a few apps we talk about. But the second app that I use, crucially, for my property business to keep me successful is Google Keep. All right, Google Keep. So there you go. For the Android users, we are in, okay, Google Keep. And I do believe for the Apple users, I do believe Google Keep is accessible on Apple, okay, just to let you know. But basically, the Google Keep app is one of my most used apps. Why? It allows me to make lists. It allows you to add photos to those lists. So for example, if I go through a property and I'm doing a viewing like I was doing earlier on today, whilst I go through that viewing, I can basically tick off things on a checklist that I've got to say this property's got everything I'm looking for, or this property's missing anything I'm looking for. And if I find that there's things missing, I can take pictures of those things and add it to that exact document on Google Keep. I can even go further to do a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, Yogesh has said in the chat, thank you for that, Yogesh. Yes, Google Keep is on Apple. Okay, so Google Keep is the app I use. Now, what's some of the other reasons I use Google Keep? I also use Google Keep because it's connectivity and interactivity. Now, hopefully, some of you are picking up the trend. Okay, when I spoke about Capsule, I spoke about Capsule as a CRM system and how integrated it is to your mobile phone. Now I'm speaking about Google Keep, and I'm speaking about how it can integrate with other things. So one of the things, obviously, Google Keep should be able to integrate with is Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Forms, all the other Google suite of applications. So for me, Google Keep is one of the key apps that I use in my business to help me move forward. And the reason why is management. If you are managing properties, or if you have a management company managing properties, or if you're sourcing properties, Google Keep allows you to just store records of each property. Then after you've created a file on each property, you can then create checklists of what's in the property, what's not in the property. If you're doing management for your management team, they can share documents. So you can have 12 different people looking at one particular sheet. So when you update that sheet, everybody gets the update of the sheet. So collaboration is very, very useful. It's helpful. It's a productivity thing. So that is why I recommend Google Keep. So Google Keep and AnyDo for the apps, and Capsule and HubSpot for the CRM systems. Now I know that was jam-packed, but let me know if that is okay for you, Yogesh.
Yeah, well, fantastic. I just couldn't find AnyDo for Apple. So I'm wondering if it exists for Apple.
I'm sure. So guys, for those of you watching on YouTube, if you can't hear Yogesh, I know the team's already said you can hear Yogesh, but Yogesh just said he hasn't been able to find AnyDo for Apple. Now, I don't know if it's on the whole, where are we at with Apple now? 10X? We're on X. Apple X is the newest phone, I think. I don't know if the newest iOS software will run AnyDo, but I do know there is an iOS software that does run AnyDo, because the person who told me about it, based in Australasia, actually was using it on an iPhone. So it is supposed to be an Apple applet, but for some reason I have no idea why it wouldn't be. What I would suggest, Yogesh and anyone else who's interested in using AnyDo, is go to the website. Just go to the website, any.do, and then try to see from the website if they've got it. If they haven't got it on the website, then you know they haven't got it. Okay, but AnyDo for me is one of those key apps. It will help you with productivity, help you to start getting into stuff that you know you're supposed to be doing, etc. etc. And yes, it is on iPhone. So if you go to the website, I've just gone to the website, which I can show you guys if you want, but the website is any.do, and the moment you go to the website, you should be able to see it. Hopefully that will help you guys. Okay, all right, so Yogesh, does that help?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I can't wait for your other
video
apps and tips out. So yeah, let me know when that's out. Hopefully soon. Yeah,
I will let you know, and hopefully soon. The video has been recorded. Just blame the team that need to edit. They're gonna give me stick now, but blame the team that need to edit. that's where the delay is. It's not in the recording. We have recorded the video. I think we actually had a request on one of the live shows previously where someone was asking about apps and a few other things, and it was because it was as a byproduct of that show that we said, you know what, let's do this. Let's actually get this out for people in order for them to be able to move forward. So definitely we will be able to do that at some point, and we look forward to being able to help you with that. Yeah?
Yeah, that's fantastic. If you have time, another question, or I'll put it on Facebook anyway. My other question. Let's
go with the other question. What I've just done here, you should be able to see it right here. Is I've just gone to the website for AnyDo. So those of you who are trying to check it should be able to see it there. And on that website, if you just scroll down to the bottom, you should be able to get on there. Yeah. So the AnyDo website, any.do.
Oh yeah, I found any.do on the website. I can't see it on your screen.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to do is use the Apple Store to download it on my phone. I think it might be called something different on the Apple.
Okay, or just go through the website, because if you go through the website, you can still get it straight onto Apple. So hopefully that should help you.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me move that over here. Yeah, that should. If I on the screen right now, you should probably be able to see it. But yeah, it should be able to help you if you are able to get that from the website. I think the website will probably have it better than wherever else you're going to check. Yeah?
No, I agree, but I just, because it's on the website, you don't know how you make it an app on your phone.
No, it downloads. It downloads directly. So there's a bunch of websites, there's a bunch of companies, they'll have something on the App Store, whether it's Android or iOS. But if you go to their website, you can download it directly. So what will happen is you'll click get the app, it will work out what device you have, and the moment it will work out what device you have, it will then basically take you to where the app is in the App Store for it to download it for you. So you basically, it does all the work for you if you've already found the website, if that makes sense. Yeah?
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is they go on the internet on your phone and then
yeah,
download it.
Perfectly.
Yeah, you're right, it worked.
All right.
You're right, it worked.
Excellent, no problem. So that should help Yogesh and anyone else. If you're an Apple user and you're trying to get the AnyDo app, go to the website any.do, ANY_DO. The moment you go to the website, there's a blue button. It says get the app. Click get the app. If you're not sure if it works on your device, go to the bottom of the website homepage and it shows all the devices that it works on. I had the link sent to me here, so I know it works. All right. So Yogesh, you said you had one more question. Let's go with your question, and then we'll come into the questions on the Facebook chat and also on the YouTube chat going forward. So Yogesh's third question, go for it.
Oh yeah, I just downloaded any.do and it downloads your calendar automatically, so it looks fantastic. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
The other question I had, it's about meditation. That was it.
Go for it.
Do you meditate? And if so, how, when, how often? Is it guided? Does it help you? But more to the point is, do you think it would help property investors be creative, be more balanced, be more effective, achieve more, or I think that's my question.
All right, so my question is, can everybody hear Yogesh? Yeah, can everybody hear what Yogesh asked? And Yogesh it's amazing because the question is just so far from a question I would have expected you to ask. But thank you for asking. So Yogesh asked the question. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, for those of you who are following on Facebook, Yogesh asked the question, do I meditate? And then he went further to say, do I think it's profitable for property investors to meditate? Do I think it will be helpful for them? Do I think it will help them to move forward in their journey, etc., etc.? Is that a good summary of the question, Yogesh?
Yeah, and if you do meditate, just like specifically, how long, when, how often is it guided? Do you use any apps or anything to help you do it, or do you just sit in a quiet room by yourself for half an hour with nothing?
All right, cool. All right, Yogesh went in further. He said, okay, if I do meditate, when specifically do I meditate? For how long? Kind of, is it guided meditation? Is it unguided meditation, etc., etc., etc.? All right, so let's dive in. It's funny because I got two things I want to share. I got the answer to your question, and I've got something which I think is quite funny. What should I go for first, Yogesh? The humor or the answer to the question?
let's do the humour first.
Excellent. Everybody loves a bit of humour. So Yogesh asked for the humour first. Here's the humour, all right? The only time I have done something like what you described, Yogesh, i.e. lock myself in a dark and quiet room and, put the lights off and just been quiet in there, if I'm going to be totally honest, is when I was very, very young. So when I was around 14, 13, I used to get migraines. And because I used to get migraines, I can't remember who advised me, but someone said to me, look, if you ever get a migraine, turn the lights off, make sure it's quiet, make sure you're in a quiet environment, and, your migraine should calm, or the migraine should abate, it should disappear. So that's the only time I've ever done that, okay? But coming to your question, here's the answer. Do I meditate? I guess the answer is yes, okay? What I do is I pray, okay? So Pray, for anyone who's not sure what I just said. I pray. And the reason why is because I'm very integrated into my faith. My faith means a lot to me. It's actually the fulcrum and foundation of who I am as a person. And anyone who kind of gets to know me, gets close to me, even really gets talking to me for a little while, will find that out. So I pray. Now, to answer your question, to go deeper into your question, so do I meditate? Not in that sense, but I do pray, and I do see that prayer is a form of meditation, as shared by so many people. I don't know if you've heard of Rabbi Daniel Lapin. I know a few people I've spoken to about Rabbi Daniel Lapin before, but he speaks about prayer as a kind of meditation. So in that form, in that sense, yes, I guess I do meditate in that form. Now, to answer your question about timings, how often do I pray, how often do I meditate, etc., etc., what I want to do is I want to throw something in the chat which hopefully will help you guys. Basically, in the Bible, which is kind of the central tenets that I read and I follow, there's a really powerful verse in there, and that verse basically says that you should pray without ceasing, okay? I'm going to say that again. It says pray without ceasing, okay? And that's found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, between verse 16 to 18. It's actually in verse 17 specifically, and it says pray without ceasing. Now, some people are going to be listening to this and thinking, what? Pray without ceasing? That doesn't make any sense. Well, if you understand the language, first and foremost, pray without ceasing means you should pray without stopping. So now if I take that and bring that into the world of what Yogesh had just asked about meditation, what that verse is basically saying is you should kind of live a life of meditation, or you should live a life of pondering, you should live a life of prayer. You should pray without stopping. Now, if you break this down to the way I understand it, so hopefully this will help you, because Yogesh has asked the key question at the end, do I think this is beneficial for property investors? The reality is I think it's extremely beneficial for property investors to be able to engage with truth and to be able to speak to what I call God, or what some people call a higher power. Now, the reason why is because you get insights, you get shown things or told things that you wouldn't have otherwise thought of. So as a direct byproduct, the same thing, people say about meditation. People that do yoga, people that do meditate, they say, well, look, whilst they're meditating, they get a spring of inspiration, they get a light bulb moment, they get things turn on for them, so that they're able to become more successful because they're now in deep thought, or they're in deeper thought. Some people call it the subconscious. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it all of these things. Now, the reality for me is, if you live, and this is my strongest belief, if you live a life of meditation or a life of prayer, if you have a strong prayer life, you actually open up the doors to be 10 times more successful. That's my strongest belief, and I've believed that for a long time, over a decade. And I've seen the fruit of that in my life. I've seen that through my property business. I've seen that through so many things. I've had scenarios where I've looked at properties and said I'm not going to offer on that property. And then in my time of prayer, I've been told to offer on that property and ended up acquiring that property, and that property becoming one of the most successful properties in our portfolio. That's just an example. Now, when I've made the categorical decision, I'm not offering on that, but that's turned into one of the best opportunities in the portfolio. That for me is a clear expression of the power of prayer. So although I do not meditate in the conventional sense, I do meditate in the sense that I pray regularly. I don't have a time on it. So again, obviously, I don't follow the central tenets of Islam. I know in the central tenets of Islam, you're expected to pray 5 times a day. I do not pray 5 times a day. I probably pray a whole lot more than 5 times a day, because I try to adhere to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17, where I'm praying without ceasing. I try to stay in a continual state of being open to hear what God's got to say to me, and also being able to communicate to him, keeping the channels open, as I call it. So does that kind of answer your question, Yogesh?
Yeah, it does actually. So, I mean, the bottom line is you find that it's helpful to you, and makes you 10 times better. So, it's interesting that, because I think a lot of successful people do meditate in their own way. That's what, when I ask, that's what a lot of people say they do. So that's fantastic to hear. So thank you.
That's powerful, Yogesh. Thank you for sharing that. And you know the funniest thing about you saying that, Yogesh, that's something I found myself as well. A number of the people that I've met, whether they be successful, whether they be at the top, the apex, the echelons of life, whether it be financially, whether it be on different levels, 9 times out of 10, I always do find that these people take what I call solace time. They take time out to kind of reflect, time out to review. Those of you in the Facebook group, you should have seen a couple of days ago, I did a video where I was sharing about when I started to write in my journal in 2005. That was one of the biggest game changers I've ever had in my life. So if you're on Facebook and you saw that video that I put out in our group the other day, let me know in the chat. I saw the video, Samuel. Say I saw the video, Samuel, so we know. But yeah, guys, I think taking time out makes a massive difference. Those of you who know, I met Grant Cardone. Those of you who know, I've met Dan Penner. All of these people that I've met, these people at the highest apex of life. Yes, you'll read their content, watch their videos, and you'll hear them tell you, yeah, they take time out to think, to meditate, to contemplate, to consider, to have solace times, to pray in some cases if they're spiritually inclined in that way. So yeah, that's one of the things I do. I find it extremely helpful, and it allows me sometimes to reset. There may be things I have in mind that I want to do things a certain way, but sometimes you just got to change. You got to say, well, you know what? I'm not in charge of my life. That's the way I live. I've got a higher power, a higher order basically directing me. So I want to follow that. And in the Bible, it talks about the Holy Spirit being that higher order. So I want to be led by that spirit rather than be led by my own way of doing things. So hopefully that helps you, Yogesh, and I'm glad that you got value from the insight as well.
Yeah, as always, I've got superb value, so thanks again.
Excellent. Great to have you on the show again, Yogesh, and thank you for calling in. All right, guys, so that was Yogesh. Yogesh said he got a lot of value from the call, from calling in. And guys, I just want to encourage you, look, if you are on the show and you have questions, rather than just throw them in the comments, don't feel afraid to jump into the phone lines, okay? Because the phone lines are open for you guys. They're actually open for you in order for you guys to get value. So feel free to just write, to just call in to let us know if you've got specific challenges or specific questions that you want to share, because we're here for you. Now, the phone line is still open for a few minutes. What I'm going to do whilst I leave the phone lines open, I'm going to jump through, first and foremost, Facebook. I'm going to go through some of the Facebook comments, see if there's any specific comments, relevant questions. And then straight after Facebook, I'm going to come over to our YouTube show and check through the chat as well. And like I said to those of you in YouTube, remember the YouTube chat is your community. It's for you to talk, engage with other people, etc., etc., etc. So let's jump in here real quick. Okay, so Yogesh is here in the Facebook. He says, question, I can phone in with this. Okay, he's asked here, do you meditate? If so, how long? When is it guided? When is it guided? Does it help you? Yes, it helps me. It's guided according to what the Bible describes as ways to pray. Matthew chapter 6 talks about that. Those of you who've never read the Bible, Matthew chapter 6 is a great place to start reading it. Does it help you? Or more on the point, should I to help my property business? I do encourage people to pray. I encourage people to walk a life of faith. So definitely, Yogesh, thanks for that question. All right, so here Yogesh has asked his question about the apps. We've gone through that. Excellent. Also, we got Jane here saying hi, throwing fire in the chat. Love that. Yogesh has also asked about the CRM, which we spoke about a moment ago. Yogesh has put that's a crazy emoji. Is that a rocket? Okay, ready to go. That's his ready to go rocket. Thank you. We can hear Yogesh. Volume on YouTube. Excellent. AnyDo, Google Keep. Yep. Is it Key or Keep? Samuel, we got it in there. Google Keep. The team answered there. And we've also got Jane saying thanks. And Jane said, I found AnyDo on my iPhone. Excellent. So Jane knows it works. Yogesh knows it works. AnyDo is available to anyone who wants to go and get that. I hope you guys are getting value from that. All right. Now, those of you on YouTube, listen, let me say this to you. We got the comments here. The comments are here scrolling on fire, okay? Thank you to every single person who's jumped into the comments. And thank you to everyone who's hit subscribe. Our channel is growing. And you all know that I have the goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers. I want to push past 1,000, but we've got to hit 1,000 first. So I want to hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit subscribe, hit subscribe. If you haven't hit like the video. Okay, let the YouTube world know. I think some of you might not know, but when you press like on a YouTube video, what YouTube does is it shows a few more people that video. It says to a few more people, this is content that the people watching it like, so a few people who are not watching it may like it also. All right, so I want to encourage you, if you haven't hit like, hit that like button. Let the YouTube world know that you're getting value from this content, okay? Because that's going to be helpful, not only to YouTube, it's going to be helpful to all the other people subscribing and the rest of our channel, because it's going to push us forward towards our goal, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to hit some goals. All right, guys, so please be a partaker in that endeavor, and let's move forward in that regard. Now, whilst we're doing that, I'm going to jump into the YouTube comments. I'm going to see if we've got any comments on YouTube which people need to be answered. Let's do that real quick. And let's see on YouTube who's got questions in there. Let's have a quick check. All right, so that's all ready to go. Let's see. The YouTube chat, there's so much chat today. Thank you guys for participating and engaging on YouTube. We appreciate you. All right, and those of you on Facebook, feel free to send your comments in still. We can see them. All right, so welcome all. Hope you're ready for tonight's live. Okay. Excellent. Ready to go. Ready to go. All right, so we got KTR's question that came in through YouTube. Let's answer that question now as well. So KTR has said, hi Samuel, hope you're well. How much would you charge for a rent-to-rent deal, giving £500 a month to £600 monthly cash flow, 6-bed HMO? All right, that's a great question. I'm going to answer that in one moment. Thank you for asking that, KTR. And for those of you on the Facebook, you're going to get value from that as well. And I love those kind of questions, real to the point property questions. I can hear you. Excellent. Perfect. Now, Android. We've got lots of people in the chat saying they're using Android. Yogesh got it, the first one with Market, the first M of the Sourcing Blueprint. And again, guys, if you haven't got it, go there, sourcingblueprint.com. Go get your free copy of the Sourcing Blueprint. And for those of you who didn't hear, if you wasn't on at the beginning of the show, I mentioned on Monday, I am going to be live running a webinar for our community. So if you want to be a part of that webinar on Monday, let us know. Just let us know in the chat on YouTube or on Facebook, and we'll send the link in the chat for you guys to be a part of the webinar I'm going to be doing on Monday. I believe the link's in the description, but definitely Monday, 8 p.m, I'm going to be live with you guys, sharing some new insights that I have on a webinar on Monday. So let me know if you want to be a part of that. We got Sarah Diligence. She says in the chat, Android for life. Love that. Thank you very much. We got the AnyDo link. Google Keepers on Apple. Excellent. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18. All right, and we've also got other verses of scripture being thrown in here. We got Mrs. I Can Win throwing in here Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, which says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. So that's straight from the Bible. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. So that's a verse of scripture in the Bible, Joshua chapter 1 verse 8. It's funny because that's actually a verse that I use in a lot of my property training. Whenever I do any property training, 9 times out of 10, the Joshua chapter 1 verse 8 verse will be in the training in one of my slides, because it's just a powerful verse, and it really says what it is, and it helps you understand the way things work. Okay, if you keep the words in your mind, meditating on it, you will have success. All right, so let's jump into the question. Okay, so KTR has asked what I think is a very, very powerful question, and that question is, how much would you charge someone to sell them a rent-to-rent deal? Okay, if that rent-to-rent deal is generating £500 or £600 per month, okay? How much would you charge someone for a rent-to-rent deal if that rent-to-rent deal is producing £500 or £600 per month? Now, this is maths that I usually reserve for people that are in my coaching programs, whether they're on the online program, whether they're my 6-month coaching clients or our 12-month coaching clients. But I'm going to share this with you guys here right now. Now, if you need more information on this, then let me know you want to jump into our coaching program. And in our online coaching program, in our online training, or in the actual coaching program, the 6-month or the 12-month variant, we can talk about that, okay? Or if you end up on the webinar, which we've just thrown the link in on YouTube, on our webinars, we generally do a Q&A at the end of the webinar, so you can ask that question if you've got more questions as well. Now, link is in the description for the webinar. If you want to be a part of that, you can go and register right now. Link is there, www.impactproperties.co.uk/webinar. I'll be with you guys live 8 p.m. on Monday discussing what's going on in the current climate. Now, the way that I would basically acquire a sourcing fee is always based on value, okay? So when I say it's always based on value, it's really simple maths, okay? In a 12-month period, if you have a rent-to-rent generating £600 a month, okay, over a 12-month period, the optimal amount of income the rent-to-renter who controls that property can generate is £7,200. That's £600 times 12. So if I've got a rent-to-rent deal, which I can generate £600 a month over a 12-month period, what that basically looks like over the whole year is £7,200 income, all right? Now, why is that important? The reason it's important is because if you are selling rent-to-rent deals, you want those rent-to-rent deals to be lucrative, okay? Too many times do I come across people who say they know what they're doing in property, say they know how to offer value, they're selling rent-to-rent deals for 8 grand, 9 grand, 10 grand, but the rent-to-rent deal doesn't generate that in the first 12 months. So the question to me from KTR is, what would I price a rent-to-rent deal which is generating £600 a month if I was selling it on to someone else? And the answer is simple. The answer is whatever I can squeeze in within month 1 to month 10, with having that rent-to-renter who's buying the deal being able to recoup all of their funds in that period of time. So what does that mean? This is what it means. If I've got a deal that's generating £600 a month, by month 1 to month 10, that is a revenue of £6,000. Now, any person I'm selling a rent-to-rent deal to, I want them to be able to get all of their funds back by month 10, including what they've paid me. So if I want them to get all of their funds back by month 10, let's say, for example, the property has a rent of £1,500 every month. In order for them to get into that deal, they have to pay 1 month's rent and 1 month's deposit. So 1 month's rent, 1,500, 1 month's deposit, 1,500. Now let's assume the house needs to additionally be furnished, or the house needs something else additional, which is going to cost an additional £1,000. That's another £1,000. So we've gone from 1 month's rent, 1,500, 1 month's deposit, another 1,500. That's now 3,000, plus 1,000 for whatever else has to happen. That's £4,000 that needs to be implemented for that deal to start for that renter. So my maths is month 1 to month 10, £6,000, minus the 1 month's rent, 1 month's deposit, £3,000, minus the extra 1,000 they need, which is the £4,000. 6,000 take away 4,000 is 2,000. That means there is a £2,000 margin for me to charge as a fee, because that will allow that renter, if they know what they're doing, if they pay the 1 month's rent, if they pay the 1 month's deposit, if they pay the extra 1,000 needed to pay, if they pay my fee of £2,000, by month 10, they would have recouped all of their funds. Now, the reason I do that is because 9 times out of 10, I'm looking at a minimum of a 2-year contract on that property. Generally 3 years, generally 5 years, okay? All the rent-to-rents in our portfolio are 3 or above years in terms of the length. So I would generally seek to lock in a 3-year, 5-year contract. So the point is, if you're selling a rent-to-rent deal with 2 years or more on the contract, I would always try to lock in my fee within the first 10 months repayment period. So I want that individual by month 10 to have been able to pay, recuperate their funds for paying me, recuperate their funds for paying the rent, recuperate their funds for paying the additional deposit and any other fees that they may have had. Now, KTR, let me know in the chat if that answers your question. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you answered the question and added more value, you hit it out of the park. 1 being, Samuel, I could have got a better answer by not asking the question. Let me know, scale of 1 to 10, how well you feel your question was answered. So guys, that's the value right there. Like I said, hit like, hit subscribe, become a part of the channel. Let us know what you want more of on the channel so we can keep moving forward. Now, what I want to do, I like to do this every single show. For those of you who join us and spend some time with us, you spent around an hour with us, we might as well give you something back, is I want to give you our key resource for this show. Our key resource for this show is the Rich Dad Poor Dad audiobook, absolutely free of charge. Go get it. All you need to do is go to the link www.impactproperties.co.uk/rich dad. impactproperties.co.uk/rich dad. Yes, you heard it right. impactproperties.co.uk/rich dad. Go get your free Audible audiobook of Rich Dad Poor Dad, absolutely free. All you've got to do is take a 30-day subscription of Audible, absolutely free. And if you decide to cancel before the end of the 30 days, you are charged nothing and you still keep the audiobook. So that's a bit of value for those of you who are joining us, our free resource, the Rich Dad Poor Dad audiobook, to help you move forward in your property journey, because that's what it's about. We want you guys to move forward. We want you guys to get more value. We want you guys to do more deals. We want you guys to show us the deals you're doing so we can share the testimonials and say, look, this person was on the show, we helped them with some answers and they went out and got some more property success. And that's what it's about, guys. So help us help you move forward in your property journey. KTR responds just in the nick of time. She says 10 exclamation mark, very helpful as usual. And then in the next comment she says thanks. I say you're welcome. As usual, this is what we're here for and this is what we do. So last but not least, if you haven't already gone and become a part of what we're doing, hit subscribe, press the like button and hit the bell notification so you can stay up to date with every single thing we do on the YouTube channel. Side by side with that, why don't you go and get the Sourcing Blueprint ebook by going to www.sourcingblueprint.com. Ebook is there, absolutely free. And last but not least, go and register for this webinar now. Okay, the webinar can be accessed at www.impactproperties.co.uk/webinar. I'm gonna be live with you guys. Okay, I'm going to be live with you guys on Monday, 8 p.m. giving you some value. We're gonna open up right at the end with a Q&A as well. Let me know how I can help you more than that, because I do not know. Samuel, I can win. I'm signing out. It's been an absolutely great show on the YouTube and I'm looking forward to the next one. Keep your eye out for the upcoming videos and we will keep moving forward. Love the comment in the chat. Yoga says already registered. Love that. See you guys soon. Signing out. Happy investing.